4 starters from that team. Usually those teams get rated in the transfer portal area.
Yeah, we asked Coach Jim Shaw just how did he do it, and he said, well, it helps that our campus is on an island. That was a good place to start. We've got pretty good weather, but clearly these guys have bought into their program. 3 straight 20-win seasons, 3 straight postseason appearances for Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Purdue going to have to come out here and handle business early.
They did not pull the bridge up to keep people on the island. They do allow them on and off, but it is a beautiful area. That's one of the reasons Jim Shaw said they kept their team. And here we go. And there's Braden Smith with his first touch of the night and the first touch of the season for the preseason Big Ten Player of the Year. And they've got a whistle already and an offensive foul going against Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Trey Kaufman-Renn in those 2 exhibition games was simply outstanding. Averaged just under 19 a game, also 9 rebounds, had 10 offensive rebounds against Creighton and Grand Valley State. He's going to be a big part of this Purdue offense this season.
Isaac Williams, freshman, starting at point guard for this Islander team. Gary Clark's probably their best player. Misses the shot and a foul battling for the rebound. This was a really good rebounding Islanders team a year ago, 13th in the nation.
Well, and adding Sheldon Williams, who just picked up that foul, he led all of junior college basketball in rebounds per game last year at 14.6. So Daniel Jacobson, welcome to college basketball. You've got a heck of an assignment blocking him out every time.
And on the shot clock for Smith, and he stepped on the sideline. Jim Shaw is the head coach in his 2nd year. Former Creighton assistant Steve Lutz was the head coach at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Shaw joined him there and now has elevated to the head coaching role as Lutz has moved on now at Oklahoma State.
Wait, that's why this game was scheduled originally for Steve Lutz to come back here and coach a game in Mackey. Now he's obviously moved on to Western Kentucky and now to Oklahoma State. But this program, a very good one.
Trey Kaufman-Renn with the rebound off the Owen D. Smith and a quick push up the floor to Lawyer for 3.
And Braden Smith saw him the entire way down the floor right there. Fletcher Lawyer knows exactly if he runs hard to that wing, his point guard's going to find him.
Lawyer, the Big Ten's 3-point shooting leader in league play a year ago at almost 47%, or rather 49% from 3.
Gary Clark, though, you're looking at the first team All-Southland selection last year, led the conference in field goal percentage, and he's going to look to put the ball on the floor and make plays in that painted area.
Here's the freshman Daniel Jacobson. Lawyer back down low to Jacobson and a foul, trailing the big man on Sheldon Williams. That'll be his 2nd.
There's no doubt that with no Zach Edey in this lineup, Purdue is going to look to push the tempo. And you look at the eyes right there. Braden Smith scanning the floor the entire way down. He's got Lawyer locked and loaded running that right wing. That's a terrific pass.
Inbound taken away. Isaac Williams, the freshman, and nearly has his pocket pick that goes out of bounds off the foot of Kaufman-Renn. But when we were talking with Jim Shaw earlier today at their practice, he couldn't say enough positive things about this young freshman, Isaac Williams.
Well, just a guy that's come in, and maybe not a true point guard, but somebody that has shown enough with his scoring ability and also just a little bit. They're going to have to learn on the fly. You look at who they had last year. Marion Humphrey started 28 games. He has moved on due to graduation, so certainly a void needing to be filled for Corpus Christi at that point guard spot.
Deese. Tipped away at Smith, who got a hand on it. He'll start it up the floor, drops it off in transition, and a finish for Jakari Harris.
Not the prettiest pass there from Braden Smith. Kind of mishandled it, but still effective. And there you see Smith off the ball, able to shoot through that passing lane. Defense creating offense.
Williams, the penetration, finds Jordan Roberts for 3 off the heel. And the rebound with Kaufman-Renn.
It's going to be something to watch for, though, for Purdue, is just how can they keep the bounce out of the paint. These A&M Corpus Christi guards can get to the basket. They're going to have to lock in individually.
Jacobson wanted a foul, yeah, didn't get it, and then the Kaufman-Renn miss is rebounded by Deese. Deese, the open man out of the double, and he hits the 3.
I have to think that this is a big game for Owen Deese, and then this Corpus Christi coaching staff thinks that he can be a guy that breaks out. A lot of ability, can put it on the floor, has a good handle, didn't shoot it great from 3 last year. You see that stroke, it looks pretty good.
And a guy who's got a lot to play for tonight, an Evansville, Indiana kid who's back home in his home state. to play basketball. In the corner, Kaufman-Wren's three rebounded by Jacobson. Jacobson at 7'4" is fouled, and that's Sheldon Williams. They gave the foul to Deese before, so this is just number 2 on Williams.
And for A&M Corpus Christi, Stephen Giwa out tonight with an injury, a knee issue that had to be resolved here before the season started, and it's a little bit undermanned here for the Islanders. So foul trouble in the front court, a big story early.
Daniel Jacobson, you can see him at 7'4". There's the bench of Corpus Christi and the guys they'd love to have on the floor tonight to help out on the inside against Jacobson and the bigs of Purdue. But you look at Jacobson and you see the height, but clearly there's a difference between there's a difference between Edey and Jacobson.
And you look at Zach Edey last year, and that's certainly not how he came in to Purdue as a freshman. So Jacobson, a lot of ability, played just fantastic basketball at the AmeriCup with the U18 USA basketball team this last summer. But he reclassified. He's still really young. He's learning every day. But certainly a high ceiling for this kid here.
Gary Clark off the side of the rim, and there's Jacobson to track it down. Well, he knows the guy to outlet too quickly, and that's Braden Smith. Smith trying to turn the corner against Leo Torber. Inside, Kaufman-Wren.
Not going to see him miss too many of those this year. He gets his right hand. Trey Kaufman-Wren, pretty good for the most part. It's a good opportunity and one they'll take if you're Purdue.
Oh, Jacobson cleaning it up on the glass. His first block, the bounce to Lawyer. Lawyer on the drive to the rim. Got the roll.
He is underrated in his ability to get to the basket. You have to respect his jump shot. 48% from 3 in Big Ten play, led the Big Ten last season. He just puts that thing on the floor and he finds things at the rim.
5 for Lawyer to start the season. Nice passing inside, but Jacobson there with the block. And they're going to call that one a goaltend. A 9-7 lead for the 14th-ranked Boilermakers, 15:46 remaining in this first half. And as you might expect, Robbie, first real game with the fans here, the game actually counting, and a little uneven for the new Boilermakers.
Well, I just think, we've become so accustomed to seeing them the last 2 years and look so crisp. But with Zach Edey moving on, and also you can't forget about how important Lance Jones was, there's going to have to be some guys that find their way around the big three of Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Wren. And I think Cam Heide and Miles Colvin, you see them right there. C.J. Cox as well. Jakari Harris. Those guys are going to have to find where can they be effective on the floor, especially on this end. How do you fit in alongside these guys who Purdue is going to run these plays for?
Will Berg on the floor for the first time, the 7'2" sophomore. Here's Trey Kaufman-Wren in the paint. Nice catch and finish.
Boy, there's 2 on the ball right there with Braden Smith. That short roll is going to be really important for Trey Kaufman-Wren this year. He was really good there of finding the basketball and then making a play.
I know it was exhibition, but I couldn't have been more impressed with Trey Kaufman-Wren in that Creighton exhibition at the end of October.
Absolutely.
Good roll-by to the rim for Owen Deese, who's off to a solid start. He's got 5.
He's a player here, Kevin. And you watch him from last year. Has a really good handle for his size. If you get to the rim, he starts making some shots. And Owen Deese, he could certainly be a problem in the Southland.
Braden Smith got poked in the right eye. Friday, stream men's hoops on Big Ten Plus when the Boilermakers are back on the floor for a matchup with Northern Kentucky. It's one of the thousands of non-televised live events across the Big Ten you can see this season on Big Ten Plus. Subscribe right now at BigTenPlus.com. Two-point lead, 11-9 for Purdue. To shoot. Smith finds Kaufman-Wren all alone for 3.
Well, Texas A&M Corpus Christi was okay with giving that up. Gary Clark was totally in to take away the roll. There's 2 on the ball with Braden Smith. This pressure has affected Purdue's offense, but a great read by Braden Smith right there.
And only 8 of 24 last year from 3. Is that a part of his game we could see expand this year?
I think he's definitely, it's not that he's going to shoot a crazy high volume, but if he is open, Trey Kaufman-Renn is certainly going to shoot the basketball. There's that 2 on the ball I talked about. Gary Clark just helping in on the roll man. Braden Smith making the right play and finding his 4-man open for 3.
But you can see little parts of the experience of the Islanders. They help on defense. They're where they need to be.
They really pressure. This is what they do. They turn you over.
And Isaac Williams finishes, the freshman, at the rim with his first 2 as an Islander.
And you listen to Matt Painter talk, Kevin. He always talks about how taking care of the basketball is so important for this program. Well, Corpus Christi, they were top 20 nationally last year in forcing turnovers, and their pressure has played a part early in this game.
They started last year 2-4, won 19 of the next 25. Lawyer in the corner.
Cam Heidi's got to be ready to shoot that.
Kaufman-Renn will try from deep again. This one won't go. And a rebound. Heidi battling for it, and foul's going to be called, pushing Heidi towards the baseline.
I just didn't think Heidi was that ball looked like it surprised him in the corner. But good to see him go to the offensive glass. With his size and athleticism, he should be a good rebounder for this Purdue team.
When they're going to need guys like that to rebound.
Absolutely. There's a void from the 12 or 13 rebounds that were sucked up by Zach Edey last year.
There's Braden Smith. How often have we seen that in his career? Still just a junior, but he pumps the 3 in to make it a 6-point game.
As those bigs are back, he just feasts on that type of coverage and pick and roll.
Gary Clark in the paint. Good control for the senior, who Jim Shaw was raving about his mid-range game earlier today.
He's not flashy, but he gets to his spot. He has good size. He's really physical. Gary Clark is certainly a guy that's going to be a player in the Southland Conference again this year.
Islanders picked 4th in the Southland. 4-point lead for Purdue. The drop off to Kaufman-Renn. A little bit short. Good rebounding. 13th in the league, or 13th in the nation rather, in rebounding last year for the Islanders. Deep 3. Strong for Aaron Potter. Islanders back quickly. Smith got a good pick from Berg. Rolls it to the big man who's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
You could see it there. A breakdown in the pick and roll defense of Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Braden Smith comes off, then the panic sets in. You run guys at him, and if you're Will Berg, that's one where, man, you've got to be looking to tear that rim off there for an and-one.
Native of Sweden. He's 7'2", but he's a little different big than what we saw from Zach Edey. Obviously, everybody's big.
Edey is a tough standard.
Yes, he is.
To live up to.
But is he more of your European style big?
No, I don't think you're not going to see Will Berg step out and shoot threes. He's going to bring a physicality. Certainly we saw that at Creighton. He racked up some fouls. And look, you get thrown in there to play against Ryan Kalkbrenner. That's not an easy thing to deal with. But he's a good rebounder. He's a good screener. And that's going to be where he can make his mark for Purdue this year.
Ian right forward with a blocking foul called underneath on Braden Smith, and right forward will go to the line for a pair.
And that is Ian Wright forward's expertise right there. He gets out in the open floor. He's a lefty, and remember, with the block charge rule, clearly Smith still leaning there, sliding to the left, and it's an easy call for the official. But Ian Wright Ford is looking to get his game on in the open floor.
And he's a rare player because he played 2 years at Odessa College, averaged 7 points per game at a lower level, then moved up to the Southland and averaged over 10 points a game last year.
That's not normally how it works, but came off the bench a bunch for this team and was very effective scoring the ball in that role.
And just a 2-point game.
Burgess there. Let's talk about him redshirting. That's not going to happen. And he is on the floor here just 8 minutes into this ball game.
Making his debut, and he forced Matt Painter to play him. In the corner, it's C.J. Cox, and we've got a whistle and a foul. Speaking of freshmen, C.J. Cox making his debut. One of the real good stories that really underlines what Matt Painter's program is all about. He found this guy while looking at another kid that they were recruiting. They played each other in an AAU game, and Matt Painter liked what he saw after the game. He was hugging everybody in an AAU game. Started talking to his coaches, and his coaches said this kid he's an outstanding kid, one of the best we've ever had. Said he got his password to look at some highlights and decided that they liked what he made up, his makeup, and they offered him no high major offers until Purdue came calling and C.J. Cox became a Boilermaker.
How good was he against Grand Valley? He could really score.
Knocked free, loose on the floor. Everybody's scrambling, and it's Owen Deese who picks it up.
Corpus Christi is out here competing. They're playing really hard. It's not always the prettiest brand of basketball, but they are flying around. Purdue only 7 turnovers in their 2 exhibition games.
4:23, that's some pretty good company to be in. Now, we can't have a conversation about Braden Smith now lacking in the beard that you see in that picture.
He looked like James Harden's beard at Big Ten Media Day. He shaved it down, but that thing was getting pretty thick.
Yeah, it's at least a little more trimmed,
under control
as the season begins. On the penetration, that's the freshman again. Williams gets to the rim, just can't finish. And Purdue hangs on to the 2-point lead as Smith will navigate up. Quick jumper won't go. Rebound, Burgess inside. No, and it's secured underneath by Gary Clark of the Islanders.
Up the floor, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi is hanging on rims. Purdue misses a layup. Riley Burgess losing his balance. Corpus Christi, the Islanders taking full advantage.
How about the Evansville native with 9 in the first half? Owen Deese.
They raved about him, though.
They did.
Talking about how this was going to be his year to break out. And you mentioned so much reason to play well here, being from the state of Indiana.
He was plagued with injuries his first couple of years, fully healthy, and you could tell. C.J. Cox will try the 3.
Boy, how this dude, you watch that Grand Valley game and just his shot making. You talk to the Purdue coaching staff, and it's amazing that he wasn't more highly recruited as a player in high school.
It's hard to believe there are any hidden players anymore.
Seriously. But I will say, Matt Painter is outstanding at evaluating talent and finding guys early. In this case, it was more late, but you see players get offered early by Purdue, and a lot of times their offer lists end up being pretty impressive.
Smith with the no look, and he should have looked. It went right into the Islanders bench.
He had Riley Burgess open there, just on the roll. A little bit too cute there, trying to look him off.
Jakari Harris back on the floor. It's going to be interesting to see as the weeks go on how the rotation shapes up for these Boilermakers. A lot of new faces in new places.
Question marks at that center position. We've seen that on display through 10 minutes, and then a lot of bodies rotating in and out, and that's got to be a big concern. Boy, Jim Shaw talked about Isaac Williams' burst to score the ball, but I believe in that. Yeah. I mean, it has shown through here early.
How about that points in the paint differential? We didn't see that too often.
Not been sharp.
No.
And the pressure and the physicality of the Islanders has certainly thrown off this Purdue offense.
And this is an area last year where Lance Jones really helped Purdue and where his absence is felt already this season.
Just a seasoned guy, a fifth-year player, had played a bunch of basketball for Southern Illinois. And this is the Purdue team with 4 freshmen, and it's clearly here early trying to figure some things out. But we both watched that Creighton scrimmage. That was a high-level game.
It was.
It did not look like this.
Williams a little short, and Miles Colvin with the rebound. Now Cox looks to push it up the floor. Here's Colvin, the 3 in transition.
That was a tough shot right there. Pretty good contest. And normally, if you're trailing in on a play like that, it can be tough if there's a late contest there.
Boy, how about Cox? C.J. Cox is going to win some fans. The tie-up, and here comes the paint crew. Owen Deese will inbound for the Islanders in a 4-point game. Williams 4 points in his Islander debut. Here's Jordan Roberts, the 3 way off, and Kaufman Wren with the rebound, his third.
He's been quiet. He's a guy that it's their best shooter on this team. A little screen for the screener action there. Clearly Texas A&M Corpus Christi trying to get him going.
Another turnover for the Boilermakers. Quickly up the floor is Williams. The finger roll, no. The follow, no. The second follow, yes, from Aaron Potter.
That Painter's not going to like that. Certainly the turnover and the turnovers in this game an issue, but multiple offensive rebound opportunities there. Purdue not getting back, and the Islanders taking advantage.
7 turnovers already for Purdue in this first half. The entry to Kaufman-Renn. Nice gather and finish.
If you're going to post-trap him, I would not advise to post-trap him to his right shoulder because he wants to get back to that left, and they kind of played right into his hands there.
How many times did you see him go the other way last year?
1. I remember the play.
Clark inside, and the rejection from Jacobson. Harris, this skip to Colvin. His second three.
There's that secondary ball handler, though, right there in Jakari Harris. You got Cox on the floor as well, but Harris able to bring it up here and find Colvin running the floor.
Clark trying to answer. Way off the mark.
That's what you'll give up with Gary Clark, because that percentage hovers around 27%.
Harris. Won't go. Rebound tipped around, and it's controlled by the Islanders and Gary Clark.
You can see C.J. Cox is just kind of sizing up Isaac Williams, and he's looking for his opportunity to strike.
Shot clock at 10. Roberts backs it out to Williams. Will they try to take him off the dribble? 3 to shoot. 2 to shoot. 1 to shoot. He's going to have to hoist it. He won't get a shot up. C.J. Cox again for Purdue with the on-ball defense. Very game Islanders from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Braden Smith back into the game. He's got 3 points in this one. Leading the way, Trey Kaufman-Renn with 7 and Miles Colvin with 6 for Purdue.
And Purdue's gotten a nice little boost off the bench. Colvin with his shot making and C.J. Cox with a little bit of everything. Certainly his defensive pressure. He made a 3. Painter has to be happy with those 2 guys coming off the bench and giving Purdue a spark.
And a takeaway. Potter with the steal and Potter with the finish.
Big-time finish at that, because Miles Colvin was tracking that thing down. Purdue just a little bit suspect here with the basketball. Now 8 turnovers here in this first half. I said it earlier, but in 2 exhibition games, only 7 combined.
There's Lawyer with the shot fake step in for 2.
Good shot fake there. It's the simple roll and replace action. Jacobson rolling to the rim. Fletcher Lawyer raising up behind him and playing off that closeout. He's good at putting it on the floor and making something happen.
Clark, the runner, won't go. It's been a struggle for Gary Clark. 2 for 8 to start tonight. Here's Kaufman-Renn with the skip. Colvin feeling it early, and that's why.
But that play doesn't happen if Kaufman-Renn doesn't slip out of that screen. You've got 2 on the ball again. The Islanders so aggressive with their pick-and-roll defense. Kaufman-Renn's out quickly, and a great pass.
7 of 10 from 3 to start the night for Purdue. Pull up for 2 for Demarion Dennis.
Bringing Braden Smith all over that floor. Smith getting picked off, and Dennis making him pay with that little mid-range jumper.
They're really an interesting team in the Southland Conference this year.
No doubt. And certainly, when you're talking about the Southland, McNeese they are a machine down there with Will Wade. But Nichols, a team that's made some noise, they're a good basketball league.
And Stephen F. Austin now back from the WAC into the league. Texas A&M Corpus Christi picked 4th in the conference preseason poll. They've been top 4 for the last 3 years, and they won the regular season in 2022-23. So this is a good program. Steve Lutz really got, my gosh, what a job. There's a reason that the ladder is climbed
everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty crazy to see. Already to ascend to Stillwater to be the head coach at Oklahoma State.
For this, Dennis trying to push, but Purdue back quickly. You and I are biased, I know, but Steve Lutz, one of the real good guys in this game, too. Shiloh Jackson back out on the floor, number 13 for the Islanders. He's an Indianapolis native. 5 to shoot. Jackson with the screen. The skip tipped. Got to throw up the 3. It is short, but he got his own, did Potter. And Potter, what a feed inside to Gary Clark.
And Braden Smith flying by on the contest, and Potter did a nice job following his shot. The acrobatics there, a little 360 dropping off. You got the shot blocker coming over. Well done by Aaron Potter.
And back to a 6-point game. We've got a whistle and a foul. Trying to fight through that screen. The foul on Cam Parker.
Potter tracking this thing down, and with Jacobson coming over and Kaufman-Renn going vertical, that's a very nice play. And I think if you're the Islanders, you're hoping that an easy basket gets Gary Clark going.
It's pretty impressive from Potter and Clark. Potter's a newcomer here, and Clark was ready for the ball in case.
And just the injury issues that they've had. I mean, Jim Shaw told us at shoot-around that they've played a lot of 4-on-4 in practice because they haven't had the bodies with all the injuries. Even a guy like Dean Wright Ford missed a lot of time with the knee in the preseason.
Shiloh Jackson's been back out for about a week from an injury. On the drive, inside, trying to follow it up, but it's tipped out off the hands of Trey Kaufman-Renn. 17 to shoot for Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Drives like that are going to be concerning to Matt Painter, because in Big Ten play, that could be a flush easily. You're going to have to find ways to contain the bounce without a 7'4" center and Zach Edey deterring all that action at the rim.
9 to shoot. This is Clark. Now Dennis, up 2. And the rebound for Jacobson.
Jacobson in the right position there. We saw it first in the Big Ten with Nebraska, bringing over that post double from the baseline side, and Purdue doing the same here.
Lawyer tipped away into the backcourt, touched by Parker last. Active hands for the Islanders defense. 6 to shoot. The skip to Colvin. Hot hand again. The 3 for Colvin, and a foul away from the ball.
Going to be the question mark as we get towards better competition in Big Ten play. How is Daniel Jacobson going to handle some of these guys that have played college basketball for 4 and 5 years?
He's listed at 230 as Jacobson.
That might be generous. Very easily could be generous.
And a turnover back to the Islanders. Coming up, the halftime show presented by State Farm. Dave Revson, Rayfeld Davis, and Seth Davis. Coming up on our State Farm halftime. Good to see Seth Davis joining the crew. I mean, it was good to see Dave and Rayfeld too, but they've been there. So
Seth has been doing studio seemingly for my entire viewing of college basketball life. So love to have him as part of the family here.
Isaac Williams' shot won't go, and Kaufman-Renn with the rebound. Here's Kaufman-Renn. The dish. Lawyer steps left for 3.
This has been a clinic in three-point shooting here. Purdue is just unconscious from the three-point line.
9 of 13 as a team. Roberts will try to answer. He cannot. Smith with the rebound. He'll push it up the floor. Here's Colvin. Crowd wants the 3 from Colvin from half court.
He would have blamed him for taking a heat check. Right?
No, I thought he might. He's been terrific. 4 for 4, all from 3. Circling out to the bottom of your screen in the corner. Inside instead to Caleb First, and First with his first 2 of the season.
Well done by Caleb First. Looked like it was kind of closed off there for Fletcher Lawyer, and First just ducked in and found himself an opportunity.
Roberts tipped away. First got a body on that one. 4th turnover of the night. The skip to Colvin. He'll go baseline. And his first non-3 is off the side of the backboard. Numbers for the Islanders in transition, and a foul on Lawyer. Just the 3rd Purdue foul. And the foul on the floor before the shot.
It's one where I'm sure Matt Painter is thinking, unless we've got an uncontested layup or a wide open shot, let's just bring that thing out. Shot clock and game clock difference was just a second. You could have had the last shot of the half.
16.8 seconds until halftime. Purdue with fouls to give if they so choose. Lob inside, blocked away. Caleb first with the swat. Here comes Colvin, up the floor. Oh, that hammer for Colvin. And the acrobatic two from Isaac Williams takes us to halftime. An entertaining first half.
And then you look at Braden Smith's numbers, just 3 points but 9 assists. The Islanders defense ultra aggressive, making him give that ball up. And Braden Smith's been willing to do that, find his teammates and let them make plays.
28-14 points in the paint, but Purdue doing it from 3. Miles Colvin 14, Lawyer with 12. 9 for Owen Deese to lead Corpus Christi, and 6 from Gary Clark. And Jacobson will go to work for Purdue. Taken away.
Pressure again.
Roberts to the rim for 2 for the Islanders.
Turnovers have really been an issue for Purdue tonight. And it's been masked by the fact that they've made so many perimeter jumpers, but just not strong with the ball. A little bit of a lack of focus there, but 10 turnovers here with so much time left. Just don't see that so often from a Matt Painter coach team.
Could really add one more to that list based on the work of my former Purdue Boilermaker on the sideline, with a turnover here courtside as the foul's called inside. Right before we came back from break,
you know, a friend of mine handed me this
red velvet cake. He gets this plate full of red velvet cake, and he just dumps it all over his shoe.
My shoe. It's that's a problem. I'm going to persevere here.
Yeah, look at you. The best do. Jacobson will try the 3, and the rebound to Owen Deese. Just the start of the season for everybody, including my cake-eating friend Robbie Hummel. Chris Roberts on the baseline, and the jumper's good.
And Roberts was quiet in that first half, but he's a guy that can get it going, and that's where he's made strides. You look at him early in his career, he wanted to shoot everything from the perimeter, but now the ability to put it on the floor and find his pull-up.
We've got a whistle away from the ball. Foul underneath. Kaufman Wren was battling down low with Gary Clark, and Clark picked up the personal foul, his second. Ask Robbie for his thoughts, but he's mopping the floor right now.
No cake on the floor never hurt anybody.
Jacobson inside, one dribble, left hand won't go, and the rebound tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Purdue.
I thought it was interesting in talking to Matt Painter at shoot-around that Daniel Jacobson reminds him a lot of Jawan Johnson early on, and I got to see that firsthand. But just when Jawan got to Purdue, he weighed like legitimately 185 pounds, and he'd get his hand on a lot of basketballs, but just some of those plays that in a year or two he's going to be flushing. It's going to be difficult here early.
Good look for Harris, left it a little short, and the ball tipped away from Kaufman Wren, able to get it back. And the open man in the scramble is Braden Smith. The 3 won't go, and the rebound kicks out to the Islanders, and here comes Isaac Williams. He can fly, feeds it to Deese, and a blocking foul called underneath on Lawyer, and 2 free throws coming for Deese.
We saw it last year in college basketball. These plays have gone the way of the block. Now, if you're the secondary defender and you're coming over, as soon as that plant foot is down, you have got to be there. But the numbers show the amount of charges that we saw last year dramatically decreased.
And Deese gets the kind roll. It's always been a tough play to officiate.
No, it totally is. There you see Lawyers coming over. It's really close.
Yeah.
That could go either way.
It probably will as the season goes along. We could see that same play called the opposite way.
Totally.
You wouldn't have much beef either way. 10-point game. Deese has been impressive in his return to his home state, Evansville product.
Look at the way that Corpus Christi is just trying to stay with Braden Smith to get the ball out of his hands.
Really lost it, able to track it down to Kaufman-Renn. 6 to shoot. Kaufman-Renn with the double, feeds out of it to Jacobson and a foul. Deese coming from behind, trying to prevent the dunk, which he does, but Deese picks up his second foul, and he'll send Jacobson to the line where he's 4 for 5 tonight.
But late clock execution there was pretty good. You know, you got 2 on Braden Smith, you got a quick slip out there from Kaufman-Renn, and then that interior passing is not easy. When you're in those close quarters to find big to big, it's pass from Kaufman-Renn, but a tough catch there. Jacobson earning that trip to the foul line.
And that's what you're looking for if you're Matt Painter, right? Progress in those areas, the little pieces.
Cohesiveness, certainly building chemistry with a very new group and a very new way of having to play. So let's face it, even though Braden Smith was phenomenal last year and Fletcher Loyer had a really good year, we know that Zach Edey was like the sun. Right? It's the type of gravity that he had.
Spin it inside Clark, lost the handle, and it ends up with Jacobson.
Good job by Kaufman-Renn of moving the feet there.
5 turnovers now for the Islanders. There's Kaufman-Renn on the offensive end. Beautiful spin down the baseline for 2. We saw that over and over in various ways against the Blue Jays of Creighton in that exhibition.
I'll take the left, but it's just to get going back to that right. He is so good at, with that spin move, creating space.
Numbers, 22 points and 8 rebounds against the Blue Jays. That was an offensive showcase in the exhibition in Omaha. Smith the skip. Deese with the takeaway. Deese to the other end, and Deese with the flush.
Braden Smith just falling down and throws a hand grenade up. When Deese opportunistic, that's really been the story for the Islanders defense, is their ability with pressure and physicality to turn Purdue over.
How big of a concern? I know it's game 1, so I caveat that with when I ask this question, but how big of a concern are the turnovers?
It's going to be discussed. I mean, this is what Corpus Christi does. Their numbers last year, they were an elite team at turning over, just like Trey Kaufman-Renn is an elite at getting to that right jump hook.
He's got 11 in this one.
But the competition is only going to ramp up, and Purdue is going to have to be better at taking care of the basketball.
Quick 3 from Roberts is good, and Jordan Roberts with his first from range in 4 attempts.
He does. Shot 37% from 3 last year, and considering the fact that he finished 5 of 27 on the season, so a tough stretch there, but he is a knockdown three-point shooter.
Gary Clark with the foul. That is his 3rd, and a timeout on the floor. Purdue and Texas A&M Corpus Christi opening it up. After the 2024 trip to the national championship game, Big Ten regular season title, 26 now for Purdue. They've won 4 of the last 8, and a 4 championship gap now between Purdue and their neighbors and dear friends in the state of Indiana, the Hoosiers. Wisconsin and Ohio State still with 20 apiece. Coach Katie a part of so many of those.
I'm just happy that, you know, with the Final Four run last year, that he got to experience that.
Yeah.
His DNA is all over this program and the way that Matt Painter coaches. When I was playing, I felt very fortunate. There were years where he came on almost every road trip. So to get to be around him, see how funny he actually is. You know, as a kid, you see him with the big scowl and how intense he was on the sideline, but he's honestly one of the funniest people I've ever met. So to get to be around that day in and day out, and then to see him get to experience that Final Four was pretty special.
Yeah, it was fun for us to see him in Glendale last season. As the tip off the miss by Loyer is there for Kaufman-Renn. He's got 13. What's his role going to look like this season, Robbie?
In terms of Kaufman-Renn?
Yeah, in terms of Kaufman-Renn.
They're going to post him up. He's going to look to be one of those guys that's a primary scorer on this team. I think they'll utilize him in some short roles the way we've seen tonight. As he slipped out, been able to go make plays. He will be a hub for this offense. They'll throw the ball inside to him and play through him to make plays for himself and others. And then the offensive glass is certainly going to be something that he can really have an impact in, because he is a good rebounder.
Kaufman-Renn inside. Deese able to poke it free, but he gets it back, and then a foul on Deese. A little bit of a slip. They get tangled up, and Deese will pick up his 3rd.
I thought that really Kaufman-Renn just slipped on a wet spot there. I didn't think that Deese pulled him down. Our view is a little bit blocked from the table here. Dees did a great job just sitting on that spin move, and then he goes to the floor. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, I didn't even touch him.
No, that's a tough foul.
I mean, it's just a wet spot that Kaufman-Renn slipped on. Honestly, Purdue is fortunate that didn't cause an injury for Kaufman-Renn. Those are scary type plays.
Into Colvin. He had that little bobble. He was thinking about shooting that, as he did in the first half, raining down 4 of them. There's Kaufman-Renn against Dees again. Lost the handle on it. That's a turnover back to the Islanders, who are within 9 points here in the second half against 14th ranked Purdue.
The threes have dried up a little bit. The turnovers are still certainly a problem. That's a good drive from Kaufman-Renn. Just loses the ball out of bounds.
Back to mopping up that spot on the floor while we head to the other end.
I have to say, I'm really impressed with Jim Shaw's team. With all the injuries they've had in the preseason, the lack of time together because of that, and then just the fact that they've been able to have continuity. So many mid-majors, you win 20 games, you have guys that should return and they get rated. So for them to keep their program, that speaks to their culture and certainly what Jim Shaw is continuing to build at Corpus Christi.
Well, it used to be the formula in the old days for mid-majors. Get old, stay old. The drop off to Torber, who will feed it underneath to Jackson, and Jackson's shot rejected. Here comes Cox.
Jackson's got to just go up and finish that thing. He cocked that back and let those Purdue defenders get back into play.
Lawyer miss. Kaufman-Renn, what a save. Loyal try from distance. And the rebound by Dees. 5th board for the Evansville native. Torber. Control around right forward inside on a blocking foul on Wilbur. Let's go back to the Kaufman-Renn block and what you were talking about.
You got this drop off here, and it's kind of a long gather, but you see just the cock back there, and that allows Kaufman-Renn to get in the play. You go up and finish that quickly, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi could have been in business. Purdue, though, you know, on that last play, there are some breakdowns defensively with communication, and Matt Painter has talked about it a ton. This team has not been good about talking through some action on the defensive side of the ball. That time it was C.J. Cox and Miles Colvin. Just kind of getting caught up, and that allowed right forward to get into that painted area. I think for Colvin, you know, we've seen the shot making. We know he can do that. It's got to be for him about learning how to take other parts of the game to make those things, not maybe necessarily strong suits, but just to be solid. And you got to guard your man. You have to understand the scouting report. You got to rebound the basketball on the defensive end of the floor. He's a great offensive talent, but it's some of those other things that will keep him on the floor with that.
Yeah, because the offense will only carry you so far in Matt Painter's program.
On the nights when you're not on fire the way he was in the first half, how can you still be somebody that contributes? He can do that.
3 won't go, but a foul underneath away from the ball. That's going to go on Shiloh Jackson. That'll be his 3rd. And as you mentioned, Purdue going cold from 3 now. 0 for 5 from behind the arc to start this second half after the red-hot first half.
They were unconscious in that first half.
9 of 13.
That's an absurd number.
There's Berg, the handoff to Smith. Lob underneath, and Berg gathers and throws it off the left side of the rim.
I liked it if he didn't catch it cleanly. He didn't try to force the issue there on the lob. Bring it down and go right back up with it. Good patience there from Berg.
Torber lost that one on the way up. Goes out of bounds. Last touch by Purdue. It'll stay with the Islanders.
You'd love to see him just be able to flush this on the lob, but if you didn't feel good about it, you come back down, you keep that ball high, and you go right back up with it.
It's a little bit of growth in the game for the young post.
They're going to need it, because there are some big bodies in this league.
Ian right forward, offensive foul. That's going to be Jackson, his 4th. Shiloh Jackson just trying to shake off some rust right now.
Being right forward didn't do him any favors. No. He didn't exactly wait on the screen. He was a little bit critical of Jackson on the pick that he set, but if you're going before he's there, Jackson's got to have an awareness that, hey, I can't set this like this. But you're not doing him any favors there.
Quiet night for Smith in the scoring department, not for Coleman. That three won't go. Rebound tipped out by Heide. Second chance for the Boilermakers. Only 3 points for number 3, the preseason Big Ten Player of the Year. He'll go to work. A lob underneath, and his foul is called. That's going to be on Gary Clark, and that's 4 on Clark. And again, we talked about the injuries for the Islanders, and now the foul trouble starting to mount with some key guys inside.
Great pass from Braden Smith. Beat his man off the dribble. That help comes over and set the table right there for Will Berg.
Berg at the line, 7 of 15 last year in his limited play. 0 for 2 tonight at the stripe. And there's the first. You've got Will Berg at 7-2. Daniel Jacobson, who started tonight at 7-4. We saw Raleigh Burgess for a brief cup of coffee in the first half, the 6'11 freshman. So 3 bigs to try to fill the big shoes of Zach Edey.
I think for the foreseeable future, until guys start maybe carving out some separation. That's what this is going to be.
Right forward with the 3. And all of a sudden, the Islanders with 3 made threes in the second half.
The dribble penetration again. Beat off the bounce, the skip pass out. It's not a strength of Wright Ford's game. It's 25% from 3 last year, but the Islanders playing with plenty of confidence.
Smith could find underneath the Berg, the foul on Sheldon Williams. And on Williams, his 4th. So 3 Islanders now with 4 personal fouls.
The first half, Braden Smith was finding the skip pass was there. And here in the second, Corpus Christi hasn't been nearly as good at taking away the roll man, and now Braden Smith is hitting his bigs and getting them to the foul line.
You see the foul trouble for the Islanders. Williams, Jackson, Clark, all with 4. Deese, who has 3 coming back into the game for Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They're not deep tonight. It's going to be a bit of a juggling act for Jim Shaw, as Berg will go back to the line for 1 more. Missed them both. Right forward on the push.
This is where he excels.
They kick into the corner for a 3. Strong rebound tipped around to Smith. Good job by Heide to get a hand on that. Now Smith ahead, and it's a turnover. Right forward ahead to Deese, working against Smith for 2. And we've got a 5-point game at Mackey Arena.
You turn the ball over, and you are vulnerable to get beat, whether it's on the road or on your home court. And Purdue right now just cannot stop turning the basketball over.
13 turnovers in this game. Ten to shoot for Smith. Drop off to Heide, open 3. Not going to go. Berg there with the offensive rebound, and Berg spins it up and in. Nice control underneath for the young big.
That's what he's good at. He can be a guy that impacts games on the glass.
Potter trying to answer. Smith with the board. 7-point game, 10:50 to go. Colvin can't find that first half range.
Really flat shot there. I will say, though, Braden Smith is finding his teammates in a masterful way right now.
How about Williams with the penetration? Isaac Williams is opening some eyes tonight. And it's a 5-point game. Timeout. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Off this season, 61-56 Purdue by 5 with 10.5 to play. Now we will be going to another break on the next dead ball. That was a called timeout break, and then we're still waiting for the under 12 break. Lawyer gonna hold off that break a little while longer with a 3 in the first of the second half.
Big time play coming out of that timeout. Braden Smith coming to the strong side of the floor, and as he's coming there, they are screening in for Lawyer.
Williams will try the 2, and Heide with a rebound.
That's what he's got to do in terms of rebounding the ball. He's gone to the offensive glass a few times, and tonight certainly he's got to be a good rebounder for this team.
out of bounds, and who's it going to be? It's belonging to Purdue.
And that happened because Heide went and steals a possession for Purdue.
Braden Smith with another assist. He's now 7th in program history, passing Lewis Jackson as he climbs his way toward the top at Purdue. 64-56 Purdue by 8, 9:49 to play in this second half. Matt Painter, little smile on his face. It's game one. There's been good, there's been bad, just like you'd expect in any game one.
Especially for a team that's going to have to change the way that they've played. Even though there's still some real continuity here and some very good players. You know, you're losing a guy that was a 2-time National Player of the Year.
Jakari Harris to work with 7 to shoot. Harris inside, back out to Smith. The touch to Lawyer, wanted the contact and he got it. The foul on Jordan Roberts, and Fletcher Lawyer late in the shot clock will head to the line for free throws.
The play with Jakari Harris, you get the paint touch and then the presence of mind to not take a bad one, and that's a veteran play from Fletcher Lawyer. Certainly contact there, and on a possession that looked like it was going nowhere, Purdue going to get 3 free throws here.
And get those free throws from a guy who is outstanding at the stripe. 86% a year ago for Fletcher Lawyer. Still to come, the Hoops triple header continues with the Wolverines face Cleveland State, followed by the Trojans in action against Chattanooga later tonight, only on the Big Ten Network, the Fox Sports app. Couple of head coaching debuts in their new spots, Michigan and USC. Husky May and Eric Musselman.
USC has got to be one of the more fascinating portal experiments here that we're going to see.
11 newcomers.
But if anybody could do it, Muss is the guy.
He is. They look good in that exhibition against Gonzaga.
They've got some real talent, some very big guards, great size.
Nice catch and finish inside. Wow.
He brought the physicality there. Gary Clark very good around that rim, showing that off on that play.
8 points now for Clark on 4 for 10 shooting, playing with those 4 fouls too in that physical post. Lawyer got a look. He'll launch, the 3 won't go, and the rebound tipped around and secured by Sheldon Williams, and then the ball taken away but snared back by Torborg. Clark will try from deep, and he'll hit. Clark from 3, and here come the Islanders again, back within 6.
Not necessarily a high percentage guy, but he's not a super low volume guy either. He made some massive shots in their semifinal game against Nichols last year. They ended up losing in overtime, but he's a guy that when the moments are bright, and he is not afraid.
Good underhand. What a find by Smith. Heidi's 3 won't go. The rebound tipped out of bounds. It'll stay on this end of the floor.
First half was like, will Purdue ever miss? And now it's like it's totally flipped. 1 of 12 from 3 in the second half, and they've been wide open shots. And Braden Smith, in terms of controlling a defense and manipulating for just to find shots for guys, it's been incredibly impressive. Purdue hasn't made them in this second half, but he's setting the table beautifully.
Smith will inbound. Jacobson. Here's Smith again. Smith with 12 assists tonight. He'll take it himself, and he'll go to the line for a pair.
It's a pretty impressive change of direction there and a burst to the rim. It's just Braden Smith going and making an individual play.
And Sheldon Williams fouls out on that play. So Williams' night is done. That's a big loss. The 6'8 junior was really strong in their exhibition game, but he also fouled out in that exhibition when they beat Abilene Christian. Good. We've seen players start to manipulate the crowd a little bit more on the sit down when they're.
I don't think he did that.
No, I don't think he did either.
No, a little close.
It was. It was just enough by the time it resonated to the other end of the floor that perhaps Brady Smith was bothered a bit.
It tests the basketball IQ of the paint crew.
It does. And of the player that's being told to sit down.
How much savvy do you have?
Shiloh Jackson, a little work with Cam Parker. The three for Dennis. That won't go. And a good rebound by Jacobson. Really good position, Rock. Entry to Kaufman-Renn. Double comes. And he lost the handle on that one. Tipped out of bounds by the Islanders with 18 to shoot. And a timeout on the floor. Purdue and Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Still defensive pressure up. They've turned Purdue over. Purdue has cooled off, and they've put themselves in a position to win a game in a place where nobody has won, especially in the non-conference, over the last 4 years.
Now Purdue is bringing a streak of 35 straight regular season non-conference wins into this game.
That's an incredible statistic because they've beaten the likes of Xavier, Tennessee, Marquette, Alabama, Arizona, Duke, Carolina, Nova. I mean, it's a ridiculous list of who they beat.
Kaufman-Renn, but an offensive foul is going to be called on Kaufman-Renn, his second. And it goes back to the Islanders.
That was smart by Dees of understanding what Kaufman-Renn wants. I mean, you could see he's just waiting on that play. They get Kaufman-Renn for the high elbows.
So with 7:17 to go, the Islanders down 7 with a basketball, and Brady Smith nearly got that one out.
That could have been a tough gamble because he left Jordan Roberts, who's their best shooter.
Oh, what a drive. My goodness, Dean Wright forward with an and-one opportunity here.
That was a laser off the glass there. You got 7-4 Gardner contesting. We're behind the play. You got Jacobson there to contest. You got Jakari Harris called for the block. It's quite the finish, and Corpus Christi is right there in this thing.
First foul on Harris. Three-point play complete for Wright forward, who goes into double figures with 10. And it's a 4-point game with 7 minutes to play.
For Purdue, in past seasons, this would have been Zach Edey's time to take over. Now the question mark is, who is the go-to guy? I have to assume it's going to be Braden Smith.
And a foul called on Jordan Roberts. That is his second. Now for Purdue, this is a rare position to be in indeed. 35 straight non-conference wins. And the gap between 1 and 2 is significant. The last loss was one of those COVID games, so it wasn't even a game where you had a crowd that factored into it. December 2020, yeah, absolutely it does.
Well, no surprise on Houston, but Ole Miss quietly doing work down there.
Yeah.
No offense. I mean, you'd think it'd be the Yukons or the Kansases. Granted, they...
It feels like one of those statements, though, that you'd take offense with. No offense, but I can't believe you're doing it.
I just wouldn't have thought that they would be in that discussion.
Clark, another three. The great equalizer is the three-point shot, and it's got the Islanders within 3. 5 for 8 in the half as Purdue has gone ice cold after 9 of 13 in the first half from 3. Here's Lawyer. The lob underneath in the flush.
No one coming over to help the helper. You stop the initial dribble drive, but somebody's got to crack down on Jacobson. Good pass from Fletcher Lawyer. I think Gary Clark has got to be salivating right now. Freshman guarding him. He's going to be able to get his game on.
He'll try the three over him, and the rebound.
Might have been a settle. Yeah. He has made a couple, but I'd like to see him drive him.
He can do that. 5:45 to go. Kaufman-Renn spins inside. A lot of contact. Got the 2.
And he can still go with his right hand, but he's got to go a little bit right shoulder, and that's what he did right there.
Oh, a drive inside. That was the hook. Absolutely. Isaac
shown that it has plenty to work on, but Corpus Christi, there's a reason they've played in 3 straight postseasons. They're a good program.
Well, you and I will be here a week from tonight. Purdue's going to get another test with Yale coming in.
James Jones is a beast in that Ivy League.
Picked second in the Ivy this year. Lawyer fouled, bump from Dean Wright Ford. And 2 free throws coming for Fletcher Lawyer, 3rd on right forward.
Jakari Harris is going to learn that picking your dribble up as soon as you cross half court puts you in some legitimate peril.
Lawyer to the line. 5 of 5 tonight. He's got 18. A good chunk of that came early in that first half. But a nice debut to the season for Lawyer.
I think his body looks better.
Stronger, right?
Yes, yeah. I think he definitely put the work in over this offseason. And it was talked about, not that he's not, going to win any Mr. Olympia awards, and he probably never is, but he's already a good player. If you just add to that frame, it's only going to help him.
Well, there's 2 guys on the floor right now for Purdue that changed their body. Kaufman-Renn as well. Right forward. Dangerous time here for the Islanders. Potter trying to get the ship righted again, and it's out of bounds. A turnover right back to Purdue. Only the 7th turnover for Corpus Christi, but that's a big one. Momentum clearly back with the home team right now. And a turnover right back. Potter again. Oh, wow, and the finish from Isaac Williams.
But that possession for Purdue, Fletcher Lawyer is telling Jakari Harris where to take the ball. There's just some indecision that we haven't seen from the Boilermakers over the last couple years, and some of these undisciplined turnovers just burning them continuously.
Now Lawyer turns the corner. He'll take it himself and uses the window. 21 for Lawyer. Down to the post and Clark. Jacobson with the rejection. Smith will back it out. Smith turns the corner all the way up and in. Braden Smith with 8. Goes along with his 13 assists tonight, and also he's got 7 rebounds. Not a bad night, and then a finish inside for Deese on the other end.
Braden Smith, though, every time, if he should pass, he's passed. If he should shoot, he's shot. Right there, right on cue. A little bit of a secondary break type action. And Corpus Christi not getting back. Braden Smith throwing it up, and Daniels looking.
And Kaufman-Renn, the skip over the Lawyer.
These long passes in this game are certainly dangerous.
13 to shoot. Smith will turn the corner. On the drive. He's got a double-double.
There we go again. I mean, no one stops the ball, so Braden Smith does what he should do and just goes and scores it.
Really impressive response to the first challenge of the regular season for Purdue. In the blink of an eye, up to 15. He had 8 points, assists, double-doubles last year. So far, 1 for 1 this year. And a rebound to Lawyer. And now Smith, with the comfort of a 17-point lead, can walk it up. Plenty to work on for Purdue. Turnovers will be paramount among them. Good defense by Jacobson.
You just see with his size and length, even though he's got a ways to go physically and in the weight room, just that size, it's in people's minds when they get to the rim.
Boilermakers about to go to 1-0. It was a test tonight. It was a challenge. But Braden Smith can't get it to fall. He'll go to the line looking for 2 more. Well, just about to get it started. Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up next on the Big Ten Network. It's Cleveland State and Michigan. Dusty May making his debut. That's going to be another interesting team. Some key additions from the transfer portal. Vladislav Golden came over with Dusty May to run the post now for
Danny Wolf,
Michigan.
Danny
Wolf over there as well.
Wolf's got a lot of ability.
He does.
There's going to be times where he gets defensive rebounds, just takes it off the glass and starts the break. And Dusty May's team's not going to be afraid to play with tempo and not going to be afraid to shoot a bunch of threes. But he did a great job of getting in the portal.
Yeah, he did.
Rebuilding that roster.
Well, we saw what Golden did for him at FAU. That's going to be a nice addition. They did some good work in that portal all the way around.
I think it's really important when there is a coaching change to bring someone in that understands what coach is looking for. Vlad Golden certainly can be that guy.
Jackson with the 2, and the Indianapolis native gets on the board back in his home state, his first 2 of the night. I think we've got a clock situation here. Ran down to 13.2. They're setting it back to 15. The Our House chant begins anew. 36 straight regular season non-conference wins for the Boilermakers. They got a test, but they pull away and win it 90-73. The final tonight.